All right, welcome everybody for another great session coming up for BigBlueButton World 2024. It's my pleasure to introduce Roland Alton, who's working on open source-based communication solutions with the fairkom team. He is responsible for the Jitsi-based fairmeetings.net service and manages customer projects based on BigBlueButton. Fairkom is based in the Austrian Alps, and focuses on GDPR-compliant hosting and on-premise IT services. Very much looking forward to your presentation. Roland, you're taking on a big project here with Matrix and BigBlueButton. Looking forward to seeing it. Over to you.
Thank you for having us here. Yes, we have been looking at various ways of how to put together and implement into Matrix different kind of video conferencing services. But let me first have a question here and see who has been using Matrix before and when. The Element client, which is used very often. Usually, if you click on a video conference button, then it opens a one-to-one call, which is simple WebRTC, peer-to-peer. And if there are more than 2 people in a room, then mostly it's configured to open a Jitsi call. Now, Element and the people behind Element have launched their own video conferencing solution, and which is very well working. But for us in our portfolio, this would mean to have the 4th video conferencing solution. There is already BigBlueButton, which we host here, Jitsi, then for Nextcloud Talk, and one more. And we know that video conferencing hosting is a lot of effort, needs a lot of know-how. You have all this port management, firewalls, turn servers, and each has its own community. So if somebody is hosting already a Matrix server, maybe this person does want to have the choice to use another conferencing system, not only the one which is built in or is provided with Matrix, which works great. But unfortunately, we do have WebRTC as the common standard. And maybe in future with LiveKit, we also have a common SFU, where it's much more easy to connect all these different video conferencing services, but we are not here yet. So I'm talking here together with Jan later. He will also present some slides, and we will demo one simple approach, which is bot-based. And we are talking here about all the challenges and options we have to connect BigBlueButton and Matrix. So this is a paper we have been working on since some months. You can also download it then from the download area or from the introduction pages on the BigBlueButton World conference enrollment page. So the simplest and most universal solution is a Matrix bot, which simply creates a BigBlueButton room, and all the users inside the Matrix room can use. We had developed that already 3 years ago, and now we launched it as written in Go to be more performant and also to be more modern from the architecture point of view. The bot is online, and it says, I'm here, and then you simply add a command /conf, and then it starts a conference. It spits the links to join for each participant into the Matrix room, and we'll show you later how that works. It's we are testing it now. It's not production ready, and we're looking to get some feedback to make that better, especially how the links are being spit into the room is not ideal yet. So we have to find a solution when there are very many people in the conference, how this will look like. Well, that's a universal solution. It's independent of clients. It's easy to integrate, and really easy to do. However, you need to do some setup, and the user experience is probably not the best, especially if several people click on the same, expect to click on the video button and then something else happens. Yeah, that's our first approach, which is working. And in the meantime, you have done the so some have been working and using and are using Matrix very often. Some have not tried yet. The difference of Matrix to other messaging solutions is that you have to find your hosting partner whom you trust. And well, it's all end-to-end encrypted. So even your hosting partner cannot read your messages unless you have rooms which are not encrypted. And it's all federated like with email. And we think that Matrix is the future of messaging. And also others will at least build bridges or open the APIs that Matrix will be used even for others or from other big tech companies. So our second option is, well, here this was how the workflow is. The second option is how you could integrate it into Element, which is the most professional client for Matrix. So when clicking the video call button, something else happens, and that you can configure if you are offering an Element client in the config that not the usual video widget is popping up, but it connects to BigBlueButton. Timo has presented that yesterday. He has been working on that on the BigBlueButton Tech Summit in Brazil. Together with Fred, I could convince him, or probably he more than me, that he goes there over and was intensively working for a full week and did incredible work. And now some things have to be done. And it needs to be integrated in the SDK of Element, and we also have to do some things on the BigBlueButton side to make this ready. And during this summit, also a partnership has been announced. Well, fairkom is already a sponsoring partner of Matrix, and now also BigBlueButton has announced a partnership that they really want to work together more intensively. So wait and watch Timo's presentation as soon as all the presentations of this BigBlueButton World Summit are online. This was the partnership announcement, and here Timo's demo, which was really amazing. There is a live demo video from the summit 2 months ago, which you can also watch now. There are several to-dos. It didn't work with Chrome yet, and we have to put some things into the BigBlueButton Docker container, and yeah, so there are things to be done. There is the link to this GitHub issue. Well, there are more clients for Matrix. For example, FluffyChat. At fairkom, we have been working a lot with FluffyChat, and the advantage is that there is only one code base to maintain. You get a web interface, Android, iOS client, and also desktop clients with it. We think that, so we will work on a generic FluffyChat-based client for our chat users. We still have a large Rocket Chat-based chat service, which we will migrate, and trying to convince now that all the users that Matrix is the better place and the better thing to use. And there we will also offer them a client, and this will have a button which is opening a BigBlueButton chat room. Philip in our team is already working on that, and I'm sure that we will have something to show maybe in fall 2024. However, we don't know if it will work well with other clients. Maybe we also have to spit out into the Matrix room there as a message additional to URL how you can join a meeting, which is, yeah, the question is always with which identity are then the people joining into the room, which is a little bit easier with Jitsi, and in BigBlueButton, yeah, you could also let them all be just anonymous. Still, this also has to be tested on all platforms, especially also on mobile, if that works quite well. So yeah, this is Fluffy Chat, how it looks like, and this is, by the way, a messenger based on Fluffy Chat, which we did for 500,000 pupils at schools in a German, in Rhineland-Palatinate County. They are just rolling that out, and I think we will also integrate that in this Fluffy Chat based school messenger. Jan, do you want to take over talking about the integration managers and the challenges we have here?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Can you hear me? Okay, great. So a bit background where I'm coming from. I'm living currently in Vienna, but I was working at university in Graz, and I built a metric system there. I'm now also helping the Vienna Technical University building with metrics. And with my experience, I picked up some opinions and some interesting information how we can integrate metrics more with other video streaming solutions, right? And previously, we had a nice widget integration manager for Element, which managed a lot of things, like not just video conferencing, but stickers and bots and all kind of things like YouTube and Spotify, whatever you want, you could integrate into it. The problem was the Metrics Foundation at Element consolidated a lot, and the project died, I think, like 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And there never came really any viable alternative back, right? So some people are still using it because there is no alternative to make their widgets work. For example, there was to make Etherpad run, right? Which was one of the greatest selling point of Metrics, was to make it integratable into other solutions. It would be better like if they're open source solutions, but doesn't matter, right? Like just make it work, work together, right? And this was a big problem, which, yeah, as it said, like we should. So if we want this solution, like we want to solve it with picking up an integration manager, it's a big responsibility, right? We have to fork it, we have to maintain it, we need a lot of knowledge and knowledge bases and people working on it. So I don't know how realistic this is. Also, for now, mostly it's Element focused. Element X will come. It's not sure if this like even works with Element X, and other clients could in theory implement it, but it's built for Element, right? So this was nice until it wasn't. And the better, like at least thinking about long term, would be going through the metrics widget specification itself, right? So I can strongly recommend Timo's talk. He talked a bit about it, and I asked a question about the widget specification as well. For people who don't know, like metrics and how this stuff works, is like the community like gathers and an MSC is called a matrix specification, puts out a paper, a white paper, so to say, of stuff they like to have specified so we can implement it together, right? And the widget specification famously is still not spec'd or not completely spec'd, although there's a lot of work done, like for example by a Nodec company who already is doing a lot of widgets for Element. Yeah. The thing is though, if the widget specification gets spec'd, right, other clients are expected to pick it up. So this is like a hot topic. Because if it gets specified, like every single client is expected to be able to use widgets, which is not easy to do depending on the tech stack you're using in your client. For example, Fluffy Chat uses Dart, which is completely different from Element. Element X uses Rust, like a lot of it, right? So they're completely different tech stacks to be implemented. So it's not easy. Also, even if we get the widget specification worked as expected, we still have a lot of work done because there is not really one standard to rule them all, which we like to have, right? It's hard to implement standards. It's a long-term project, and it's not sure how successful it will be, right, as of now. However, it is really important to have a standard most people at least can agree on, so other clients can implement the widget as well, right? Maybe not every single widget, but at least the most important ones, which I would argue would be something like video conferencing. Timo's talk already, again, watch it, it's great. They also use a widget wrapper, which doesn't make it trivial for other clients to implement BigBlueButton into the matrix itself, right? So there is a caveat, like WebRTC and the SFU is great, great beginning, because this is stuff we can use probably everywhere, but there is still much work to be done. This would be the long-term project where we have to lobby for it and maybe talk with a lot of people. What exactly do they expect and want for it? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Doing that way. Now there is one more option which we have been discussing lately. We could simply intercept the Jitsi call. So if Element or any other metrics client is launching a call, then see if we can redirect from the Nginx to some other service and launch another conference. We think this is not so difficult to do. However, again, the user experience is probably not that nice, because again, you have to spit then the join call back to the matrix room, and so that other users of the conference could call, and we would fetch if somebody else would again click on the same video conference button, that they are also in the same room. So it's challenging, but could work, and maybe we do a trial here as well. But not every client has then probably a Jitsi call configured. So we do need to do also some more investigation here, if this would be a good approach to go. We have set up a stub project here with a few issues where we are discussing it, including how you would call and open also a Zoom call, which is another conferencing system. We have one client who would be interested in that, and to get that out of metrics room. Something very different the other way around, or well, is in fact bridging the chat with matrix. How could you do that? We have developed a proof of concept for forwarding messages from a matrix room chat to a BigBlueButton room and vice versa. It's working. And the simple thing which you need to do is add a Node.js service, which is put on an existing BigBlueButton server, and then it is reading the Redis message queue, takes it, if it's a chat message, gets it back to the metrics server, and whatever is being done on the metrics room is being put back. So this would bring some consistency. We had a BigBlueButton community meeting in Mainz 2 weeks ago, and one topic was also bring consistency to BigBlueButton rooms. Well, there are probably more smarter and better ways to do that, but this could be a helpful way how to get at least the chat continuous in BigBlueButton rooms. If you simply reconnect to the same matrix room, and in the matrix room you would then have all the history also from previous BigBlueButton conferences. So this is the flow of the subscription to the messages, how it then goes to the matrix client, how the user then gets it here, and how it's being sent back to the HTML5 via the HTML5 client to the BigBlueButton user. So as a summary, what did we achieve until now? We have bots as proof of concepts available. The one is -conf, so start a BigBlueButton conference from a matrix room. And the other bot which we have is this bridge, which I just mentioned. And here you simply say bridge start or stop, or bridge pause if you don't want to have your messages off the record in the matrix room, and then you can also resume it. Yes, this was our overview on the challenges with BigBlueButton. Some words about fairkom. We do hosting and also a lot of programming and supporting organizations and companies who use open source tools. And we have, as Jan mentioned, also some academic institutions who have their BigBlueButton cluster, but need some interconnections or support, or also identity management topics are also things which we are working on usually. Questions? Thank you.
Yes, that was awesome, Roland. And just, I think it shows the different approaches that you have and the pros and cons. Like there's a lot of thought going into this. And Jan, the assessment of where the element foundation is and the element or matrix foundation and the element client and the choices that they're making. They're not making it super easy to integrate, but maybe with Timo, we can get away through that maze of twisty passages all alike and get this in there. So I think we can do it. My hope is that anybody who's listening, watching this, watching live or listening to the recording, please reach out to fairkom or myself if you're interested in getting involved in the project. With enough people, we can get this in.
Okay.
Is there
Then
any
let's make the
questions
demo now, Jan. No questions yet in the chat. The demo so this is a chat room which we set up for this Go-based bot. Jan joined it as well, and he should now just enters conf. And here we created a meeting. This is the BigBlueButton meeting ID. And now all these people, Martin is our programmer in Innsbruck, could now with their identity, we have to do this a little bit better or sort or filter in the chat to this person. We don't know yet really how to do that. We need to investigate further. So I could not join with my name. And here it goes. It opens now a BigBlueButton room at the University of Graz. And here is Jan, also from the Matrix room. Okay, you have two cameras.
That's the same.
Okay, let me see if that works. On fire. Oh, yes, it works.
It's in the same browser, it should work. Right. So we have every single user listed in the bot answer because this is it reads out the room state in Matrix and lists all the people in there, right? Which was like a prerequisite. But of course, I could, in theory, click on a different link and join as them, right? You need some authentication or something.
Yeah, that's the authentication part here. We have to work on that to make it really production ready. But in principle, it works.
Also, this works in any Matrix client you want, right? Or even like any web app that uses Matrix, it's just a link you can use, which is great.
Should we have a joint link which is simply anonymous? Would this be a better idea than to have these joint links as users? I think in the conference, it's always good that you know who is talking. Yeah. How do we hand over
also,
that?
In organization, it makes sense. Like if people impersonate each other, they should usually notice and know. In a public environment, maybe not so much, but this is like intended for organizations like universities or like at work or wherever, right? So you trust the people.
If you have a trusted room and a trusted community, probably we can do it like this.
Very cool, guys. Anyone have any questions for Jan or Roland? I think what's interesting, Roland, is just the adoption and the interest that you have for yourselves and others to move towards Matrix. Matrix is one of those protocols that's been out there for many years. And like during COVID, do you think it increased the adoption of Matrix as well? Like we certainly saw it with BigBlueButton.
Definitely.
Definitely. Definitely. And now with the Digital Market Act, which we have in Europe, there's a strong pressure on all the other chat solution providers to have a, build and open their APIs to build bridges. And there was 1 year ago, there was a hearing at the European Commission. All the big ones have been invited, WhatsApp, Meta, etc. There were 80 people in the room and 300 listening online for this first hearing, how to make these services more compatible to each other. And Matthew Hutchin from Matrix has showcased how Matrix can bridge with, I think it was iMessage, very easily, still keeping the end-to-end encryption. And then the person from the commission turned over to the guy at Meta. Well, if it's that easy, then you can do it as well. How many weeks do you need? Because Matthew said it only took us a few weeks. So they're putting pressure on them because there are so-called companies that have a too large market cap, and Matrix now gains attention, and several people who, and especially institutions who have chosen their own chat solution, either with Rocket Chat or MetaBridge, now reevaluate that because they wanted to have it more open. And yes, we think Matrix will win the race for the next few years.
Also, Matrix is really flexible. I mean, there's like the German government using it. There's the health sector in Germany using it. Like all technical universities, I think, in Germany, like most of them, use it as of now. There's a huge momentum, right? The French government uses it, and everyone builds their own thing, and some are more open and integrates into other things. But I think there's like probably the biggest momentum behind Matrix of all the communication protocols out there.
Nice. I mean, it's the philosophy of the BigBlueButton is stronger together. Like we're stronger by interacting and working with other products, Moodle, XAPI, certainly with Matrix as well. All right, Jan, Roland, thanks a lot for the great presentation. Really impressed with the project you've made so far.
Thanks for having us.